people who couldn't make it here today, so we're just going to send that around afterwards. So thanks for coming, you guys, and sorry about the 3:30, 4 o'clock issue. We usually are pretty good about being on top of things, but we actually called the meeting. This is not going to be a situation where we're going to talk at you for 45 minutes. We really just have a few things to say, and then we were hoping if you guys have any questions or suggestions, that kind of thing, we want this to be, I mean, we always call you guys collaborating artists, and to us, this is a very collaborative process. But mostly we just wanted to address this issue that, you know, the world is reopening. Life is opening back up, and we're all starting to go to shows again and that kind of thing. And if they're professionally, I'll speak for myself, but if there's a silver lining to the pandemic, I think it gave us this opportunity to really kind of work on our virtual presence. And for a lot of us, I mean, some people, everybody was all in different, you know, places. So I'm just gonna sort of speak to my own experience, but, you know, really kind of working on a website, figuring out how to bring people to the website, figuring out how to engage our customers virtually, and really to not just sort of become stagnant and falter because everything around us was sort of shutting down. So as you all know, APC, Art Party Central, initially really did come as a response to the pandemic. And as we've said in the past, it was really a group of friends who came together and leaned on each other and really did find that we're a lot stronger collectively than we are individually. And quite frankly, some of that is psychological. I know for me, I was like, wow, what the hell do I do now? And really leaning on other women who were in very similar situations totally bolstered me and boosted me up. And so now we're still individual businesses. We're going to start going to shows. We're going to be doing things in some ways the ways we used to. And in a lot of ways, we're not going back to the way we used to. So what we wanted to talk about today are some of the changes that we want to make. We don't want to lose that momentum. We don't want to lose this collaboration and this really sort of broad network of really amazing people where we've kind of leaned on each other and we've learned so much from each other. We don't want to lose that. So we wanted to talk to you about some of the steps that APC is going to be taking in the fall and some of the changes we're going to make, and we'll make it super quick. And then we can kind of talk about ideas you guys have. So Carla, I think you're going over the rough outline of what some of the ways the parties themselves are going to change, and then we'll go into some other stuff.
So the most notable change that we're going to make has to do with the amount of artists and the after party. We feel like the after party, people leave. We feel it gets it can get a little stagnant with very few people remaining. And some of the questions aren't actual questions that were posted in the chat, but we're forcing it to come back to each artist. So to counter that, we thought it would be great if we expanded the parties to 8 artists per party instead of 6, because that'll be a larger integration of mailing lists and cross-pollination. That's 2 more artists per party of their mailing lists that get invited, so that to increase attendance. And with that, instead of cutting back on time, the after party will be much more organic. We'll ask any additional questions that came in the chat, but then we'll cut it. It won't necessarily go back to every single artist. With that, we're also going to be raising our fee and cutting a gift coupon. So with that, because there are 8 artists, we figure it's enough to have one $50 gift coupon per artist per day. So each party will only have 4 raffle winners. So you save that 50, and we're just raising the fee from 150 to 175 as we find we need that to cover our costs. So really it's a win in every direction, we feel. And the people coming to the party won't necessarily know if they come to the afternoon, which 4 artists are going to be raffled off at that party. And so it might motivate people to even come back later on to the evening party for the other 4 artist raffles. So we think it's a win-win in so many different directions, both in time, flow, and energy of the party, and also in terms of the cross-pollination of a bigger mailing list. And with that, I'm going to pass it on. Kathleen, you're muted.
Is it for me or Megan? I think, well, but I can go because I think it does lead into me, and then we'll go to Megan. One of the other things that we really want to do is to have your support and bring you on board. So if you are really thriving in this platform and you would like to host, or you would like to be the support, which is admin, we want you. This is the way we're going to be super successful, is if we all are each other do this. We're going to provide the training for you, and it's also incentivized. So it is a way to get in front of the audience. Your emails and things will be at the shows, and you will have the 10% discount for being the host or the co-host, and you also get paid for doing it. So it's a way to, you know, sort of work down the APC fees that you've been paying by coming on board and helping us. So we're really excited about that. Just to give you a little bit idea of what that entails. We do have a lot of back-end work that is required for both the host and the co-host. So it's not only just presenting and communicating and timing the artist, it also requires some basic knowledge or familiarity with spreadsheets, databases, Excel, and Constant Contact. You need to be able to create mail lists and send the mail list. We have each one of these tasks. Actually, there's a video describing how you do it. You have a total support system and framework that we've built for our host and co-hosts. So we'll be giving you access to that. If you are interested in this, please because we're going to start training people for the fall. As we all get busier, we are going to need more hosts and co-hosts to support more shows, because I know we all want to continue supplementing our in-person sales with our web sales and driving traffic to our web. So keep that on your radar, ask questions, and please sign up. We'd love to have you. And now I'm going to pass it to Megan.
Hi, you guys. Welcome. Thank you so much, Kathleen and Carla. I'm excited as we go back and kind of like, this is like another pivot again. So what I'm really focused on our Instagram and thinking about ways for us to grow, to continue the momentum there while we're not having so many of our Zoom private parties. So we would love for people who would love to volunteer. And again, there will be training. We'll help you along the way if you're not comfortable with this, to take over our Instagram. So that would mean it would be your day. You'll be able to share at least 3 posts. We would ask for 3 posts, 3 in-feed posts, and many stories about your creative process. And we can give you a little rubric about how to do that, what we think is a good way to kind of engage people. We do have a really active, just like our Zoom, our art party mailing list, our email, a lot of those people are on Instagram as well. And they really do love connecting and watching the stories. We've been looking at the analytics. Additionally, we've been loving doing lives. We did a happy hour live, maybe May, and we popped tons of people in and chatted, and we want to do more of these. And so for the summer, if you are interested in going live, we'll probably it won't be a full hour, it'll be like 15 minutes pop on. We'll have 4 artists come during an hour, and each one would have 15 minutes, and we would chat. And it would just be a nice update. You could do some very similar to APC. You can show off a certain piece. You can talk a little bit. We can do a little tour of your studio because you'll have a little bit more time. It can be a little bit more informal maybe than our normal APC. So please, again, sign up for this. And as we go into fall and people are starting to do more in-person shows, we would love to have people who are there who would let us IG live video into a show. And you can show us your setup. We can be a little bit part of the show or help you market the show. The in-person, we want to be a complement to the in-person. We want to use Instagram primarily to help support that.
So that's a lot that we're hoping to be doing. I don't know if you guys have your chat open, but I kind of popped in there. if anyone is interested in becoming a host or a co-host, you can email the artpartycentral@gmail.com, or you can pop your name in the chat. I'm going to take notes. So there's that piece. And then same as, anyone I think who would be interested in taking over any of our social media or being a part of IG Lives and things like that. I wonder, Megan, if it makes sense to sort of start taking names and then have a little meeting with people and start drumming up ideas and even coming up with a little bit of a
I
calendar.
have the content ideas already.
Yeah, but
I
I
already
mean,
built, but I
calendar
want people, we need to get,
available.
I want to calendar people now.
Yeah,
Because I would like us to fill the Thursday spots primarily, because we're Thursdays are a really strong day for us at APC, in my opinion. We are not doing as many parties in the summer because we're kind of taking summer break, and just like TV, people are out and about a little more. But as we go into fall, we're gonna go to like our regular season. So we want to still supplement that with our summer schedule, our summer series, so a little bit more informal. So that would be our Thursdays at 7:30 p.m.
Mhm.
That's, and Francesca, I see your notes there. If you're not able to do summer, we totally understand.
Yeah.
But we'll continue this in fall. Nervous to say yes, we will totally train you.
yeah,
It'd be amazing,
Everything is
Jennifer.
trained.
yeah.
What'd you
Yeah.
say, Carla?
I said Jennifer would be amazing.
Amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, that's a
And
very
I want to fill the 7 p.m. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I also think, Carla did put it in the chat, but these are things that we've all learned together. And so they are doable. And if you do get nervous or say, we'll talk you through it.
Yeah.
But it's also kind of an empowering experience to participate in this way. I don't know that any of us thought that would be hosting, co-hosting, and doing this. It just was the natural fit our business and our business skills. So we love all of you to consider it.
And I think Sam and I both addressed it in the chat, but that after party work Kathleen was talking about, it's much simpler than it sounds. It's really broken down into baby steps. You go to Constant Contact, you open it up, you do this, you click that, you put it there, and it's all broken down. The first time I was a rec, and then it's like, now I don't even have to look at the notes anymore. Just
We
and
all
if I
walk
can do it
through.
with my ADD, anyone can do it.
Well, we walk through with you the first time, but there are videos as well. There really are. We have worked really hard this last year on systems, so there are tons of training videos. So you have backups that aren't just us to help you, but we will be there. That's why we want to get people on board now, so that we're really smooth for the holiday. We want everybody to be super successful for holiday.
Megan, can I attest that you guys, I did the training and I did cause some of the parties, and they have a protocol where they tell you exactly to the dot. I think I did 2. And the first one I was checking word by word, but by the second one was just, it doesn't look so prepared, but it's really functioning, very old machine. So yeah, they made it really easy.
We love, thank you, Francesca, you're amazing. Thank you. And we love that we're getting more people involved. Like, we have learned so many skills. We've helped you get into video. Now we're going to take it to the next level. I think of this as just building your skills in general with video. This is another skill set, some of this more technical aspects.
And feeling comfortable. The more you do it, the more comfortable you feel. And then, that will be an added bonus to the things you do for your own, your own brand. I mean, all of you would be so good at that.
Yeah.
Please. I mean,
Honestly, yeah. And I love, you guys are blowing up the comments. So cute.
Yeah. Yes. Great. Mhm.
I'm sorry if I'm looking away here. I'm writing everybody down.
Yeah, we're gonna, because the chat, it does get saved, but it's easier to do it right now.
Yeah, it's just easier for me to be tracking while we're discussing. So I'm not being.
Definitely.
Eileen?
Yeah, it's a lot faster for me to speak than to put in the chat.
Yeah.
I would definitely, I would be interested in doing some of what you said, the after stuff, because I don't want to commit to too much, but I would definitely like to do something. Because I would like to be involved, in that part also, because this has been good for me. So, maybe I can send an email afterwards or talk with somebody afterwards, but I would definitely like to get involved.
And just
Okay.
think about what pieces you're interested in. If you just want to email like Instagram takeover, admin, blah, blah, blah.
I
we'll
don't know
put-
that I want, how much, so Instagram takeover would be like one day at a time?
Yeah. One day you
Okay.
would just have, you would just put, we would ask for 3 posts in the feed about your work. I have
Okay,
we have a rubric I'll send you. When we
okay,
start. Yeah, everything, we always have a rubric or a little cheat sheet for you for everything. And then we'll have, in the stories, you can get even more informal and start
Okay.
talking, like go through your actual process, your day, and make a piece with somebody.
okay, okay.
Yeah,
My time is always cut up, but yeah, I would definitely be interested, and maybe I can have a further chat with somebody at some point.
Sure.
Okay,
Maybe we'll have a
All right.
special Instagram. I'm gonna compile all the Instagram people, and I was gonna put some things together, and then we'll have a special meeting just for that,
okay,
to
okay,
train people on that. That's a good, or I can make a video about that.
okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, of
And
course.
Alicia, it's just about 2,000 is our mailing list, she asked.
Yeah. And yet another thing to think about, now we don't really have any concrete things, but to keep the ideas flowing and to know that we are intent on growing and supporting us, we are considering, we're looking right now and brainstorming and planning for potential pop-up of Art Party Central. That would be in New York. So we will keep you abreast of that while we go down that pathway. But that's something really exciting to know that we want to continually create opportunities for all of us. And I think one thing we know from the pandemic is that the population is ready to connect with local makers. They've all been doing crafts at home. I don't know if you saw the New York Times article today. So they probably even have more appreciation for the work that we do. And I think it's going to be a huge opportunity for us to be able to bridge our virtual with our in-person and stay connected to our national customers. So that's, we'll let you know details as they become, hard and fast.
Yeah. And someone had asked, how did the symphony, Alicia, you had asked about the symphony fundraiser. How did that go? It was good. People came. It was definitely expanded our email list and everybody had sales. And we want to do more of them, but there are a lot of administrative work. So that's why we've it's difficult. We're trying to do more of those, but we're trying to do multiple series instead of just one-offs, if that makes sense for people. We're working with New York City Jewelry Week. I'm the jewelry person, so I did some jewelry things for us. We're working with New York City Jewelry Week for Jewelry Week. We're gonna have some special things coming up there. Oh, and we can describe the symphony fundraiser. Yes, great. So we've been partnering with several different, over the past couple months, we've partnered with different organizations. We partnered with Smithsonian during the Craft Optimism show and did a special APC event with them. We've also done Pennsylvania Guild of Craftsmen, which runs the Rittenhouse show, and a couple others as well. Of course, I can't remember all the names, but they run multiple in-person craft shows. We've supported them by doing some partnered and curated PGC art parties. And then with the symphony, with Annapolis Symphony, one of our APC customers came to us and is a board member, or not a board, something with fundraiser for the symphony. So we did a special, we reformatted our APC, where instead of giving a percentage discount to our customers, we gave a percentage donation. to the symphony. And so those are the three kind of more partnership things, and they're all been really different, honestly, in terms of how they've been structured. So we're working on more of those in the future, but of course we don't have all the contracts in place.
And I think the nice part of those was the exposure and gaining new people on our list, people that other artists don't share. So that was a great way for us to connect.
And Alicia just talked about museum shops. We just worked with museum shops is great. We worked with some, but there's also things are bureaucratic and move slow, so we can't make things happen overnight. We have to train their staff as well, because typically we're not the host, so it's training. It gets a little bit more complicated, but we're definitely open. If you have recommendations for shops that would be great and amenable to this, we can reach out to them.
I was going to say, it also runs into a little bit of an issue, and we're still working out the kinks for the same issues you have with wholesale retail dollars when you work with museum shops, like who's getting what cut. So that's an interesting thing. But back to the fundraiser for a second, because our platform is so intact and in place, and we have found that there's a lot of administration. If any of you work with a specific charity and some of that fundraising can be done on the back end with your excitement of working with the charity you work with, we're open to talking to you about doing a fundraiser for a specific organization or something you get behind, or something board members for, etc. Because again, it's what the lovely thing is, a lot of our infrastructure is in place. And any questions that anybody is having about what we've discussed so far?
I have a question. So you guys said that you have a lot of recordings and stuff in place, but I think it would be helpful to maybe know what we're committing to before we commit. So I love the idea of you guys, of learning more and getting better at all this stuff. But I'm also like, ooh, I'm not so great at that. So I don't know, it seems a little abstract to commit.
I don't think you're committing by showing interest. We would never do that.
Okay.
We wouldn't assign you like a
Those
date.
kind of girls. You don't have to buy the china or the monogram towels yet,
The way I'm envisioning it is it sort of helps us narrow down like the way it's worked before, for instance, and I'm sorry, I was dumped off the call. I'm up at my partner's camp. Anyway, we had Francesca and Griffith who trained as co-hosts. So that meant as we were meeting and doing our calendar for hosts and co-hosts, there were a couple times where none of us could do it. And I would say, well, Francesca and Griffith had said they'd be interested and they trained, so why don't I send them an email? And then, if I had trained 5 people to do it at that point, and 3 of them or 2 of them said, look, it really just doesn't sound like my skill set, that's fine too. I mean, so there is no sort of locking you in. And I apologize if that doesn't answer the question correctly, but because we did it that way, that's sort of why I've been taking notes, because we know who we can kind of potentially call on for different things.
We would have a bigger training where you could come and check it out and know if you express interest, you can come to the training, do the training, and then be like, no, I'm not into it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
When would the training be? And can you break down that? I've heard you say there's an Instagram portion and then the Zoom portion. What was the third portion?
There's 2 levels of the Zoom for the actual events that we do. There is the host and the co-host, which is admin. So they're the show's support team. So those are really critical things. And then the Instagram is not going to come with all, the very specific instructions, because that's more of a casual filling in and getting our customers excited. So,
I mean, there will be instructions though, because
yes,
you need content ideas and so,
yes.
yeah.
That's right.
That's what I'll be doing.
But that's right. And Megan is so amazing. It's like telling you, how to get on, where it's gonna, all of that stuff. She dials
Push
it.
this button, how to join a live, what you should talk about. 15 minutes, boom, 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 break it down a little outline for you.
Exactly.
We'll do that.
So when will the training be? The next
So
training?
the answer to the question about the training, if there were 5 people who wanted to co-host, I would do a training, next week. So it's sort of a rolling situation. This was really to test the waters and see who is interested. But if I was taking notes before I was kicked off, and it looks like we have the makings of a training. So I'm happy to do it. We wrote up when we first started doing this, because some of us did hosting more often and some of us did co-hosting. We wrote up tip sheets of what to do when you're doing this. And so I trained, our other co-hosts before. And so I would happily, send an email to everyone who said they're interested in co-hosting, and whoever wants to do the hosting training, I'm assuming I'll look at your faces, and I'm assuming you would be willing to do a hosting workshop as soon as there's a group of people, yeah, who are interested.
Excellent.
So, yeah. So it looks to me, because of the chat, that, I'm ready to kind of pull together some names and send out, a date, maybe in a week or so. And we just do a quick training, because then we just have you as on our list as potential people who'd be willing to do it. And there's a lot of chance for you to ask questions and, whatever. Like Francesca, did you think it felt like pretty easy, right? Once we sort of went over the nitty gritties, you were kind of like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go. And then what Francesca did is she hopped on a time when I was co-hosting one of the parties, and she kind of co-hosted, and then she sent me a text and was like, dude, I'm ready to do this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, it's pretty easy. It looks scary, but it's pretty easy. But
The text actually said, dude, I'm ready to do this.
Oh, she totally did.
But so I have just a question, because if I want to do a training for hosting, and I'm away for 5 weeks until mid of August, do you want to do only one training, or maybe I can watch the recording? If you record the training, I can watch it at my own time, because in a completely different time zone.
Mm-hmm.
And if I have, then I feel like I kind of know already most of the things, but like if I refreshing is always good. but I can't do it at the same time as you for now. But I don't wanna hold you back,
I'm envisioning us maybe having more than one training. If we have we might have another round of people interested too, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay. Either way.
We'll send you a recording also.
Yeah.
More training the better. We'll do,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be great for the audience, for them to see us do this and switch it up. I think it's just going to really be added value, and then added exposure for all Art Pretty Central artists. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And I
There's
think
two
like
different
anything else
personalities.
with anything else with Art Party, I think one of the beautiful things of it is that once you did it, I think you realize that you don't have to be anything other than yourself, and and have your work and your regular personality and what you talk to customers, at the booth. And the host and co-host thing, you'll find is very similar. It's just bringing yourself to the table, and it's another way to let people in and get to know you. But we're not asking, there's no specific APC personality. We're all different women. We're all creatives, and with very different personality types, have been successful at both jobs. So it's really a matter of not trying to do anything that's so completely out of your wheelhouse. You just bring yourself to the table.
Yes.
And actually, it's I don't know if it's the same for everybody, but like for me, selling my own work is such a pain, but selling somebody else's work is such a pleasure. So it's hard in hosting and co-hosting, because you're not talking about yourself, but about the love for other people's work. So that's another flat.